What's going on, everybody? It's time for another episode of In This Very Ring. We are here live in our own Real Talk studios. It's a very, very special night tonight. Tonight, not only do you have your favorites from In This Very Ring, we got my man Butters, I'm Ritz, but we also have the return of the Ginger Gang. Right down here below me, we have Chrome and Maddie Sensudi, the original Ginger Gang, and they also the hosts of Lazy Booking. And then we are also joined by Ryan Brodo, who apparently is the Survivor Series team captain for A2D Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
Not my captain.
Hey, Margarine, you calm down over there, Margarine. I'll get to you later.
This is gonna be fun.
Wah.
We're a minute in and it's already gone off the rails. This is fantastic. As always, guys, we are brought to you by our doc, Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy. Check him out on the web at specializedphysicaltherapy.com or his 3 locations at Burlington, Cherry Hill, and Princeton, New Jersey. Also, Michael Ambrose and Ambuck Services. They're your gutter and deck experts of South Jersey. Give them a call at 856-879-5530. Philly Drinkers brings you some of the best A2D swag on the market, and they are found at phillydrinkers.com/A2D radio.
Did you almost forget where they, the website?
You want to do these?
Oh, no, I was just asking.
So shut up.
Well, somebody's got an ego over there.
Who?
The one in the middle.
I learned from the best, brother. I learned from the man with the biggest ego in the company.
Woo.
I don't even know who is that. I'll
leave that one to interpretation.
No, you can't put that out there now.
No,
you want to start
No. I know exactly who it is. It's clear. It's 110%. It's Ralphie. It has to be Ralph all the way.
100%. But you gotta have an ego. but you have to have an ego when you're the only one that likes the crummy Lakers. You have to.
Ugh. Why would you like the Lakers?
Because Ralph.
It's Ralph.
Or is or is Ralph just following LeBron?
Ooh.
No, he just follows the Lakers.
So how is everybody doing? It's been Chrome, Maddie, it's been a while since you guys have been on. Ryan, same. How you guys been?
Good, man. It has definitely been a while. That's for sure.
I've been cool, man. Just been, doing hockey happy hour and, watched Full Gear, getting ready for Survivor Series,
All right, so guys, Let's get into it.
Maddie, I think the last time we did a show was the Ted DiBiase show, right?
I think so. Honestly,
yeah, we've been on an unexpected hiatus. I mean, I haven't been around too much. Also, on Tuesday nights when I have helping the ladies get settled on the brand new and phenomenal show here on A2D WWE A2D A2D After Dark with the ladies, which is a great show. And if you guys haven't had a chance to check that out, make sure you check that out on Tuesday nights at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
# cheap plug.
Bang, bang.
Nothing cheap about that. They're the gold standard, brother.
Wow, yeah, this is a phenomenal show.
So then let's get into Benjamin.
I'm not going there. Let's get into the full question.
You throw out nicknames, it's coming.
with Survivor Series tomorrow night, and obviously this is our special Survivor Series pre-show, I have to pose the question. Survivor Series has lost its uniqueness in the last few years. Agree, disagree. I gotta throw it to Maddie first.
For me, with the uniqueness, I would still say it's unique. It's unique because you do get the Survivor Series tag team matches that you don't normally get during the calendar year. But also, I do think they try to keep it unique. They try to have that Raw versus SmackDown, and then they had NXT, which definitely injected new life into that storyline last year. So I still think it's unique. Do I always agree with the premise of some of the stuff they do? No. Do I think sometimes the tag teams, there's some moments in there that can be either forced or are great or not great? Sure. But I still think it's unique. It's still a unique pay-per-view.
Yeah, Chrome?
Yeah, I got a lot to say about this. I'm going to say a shout out to my sister, though, who's watching, by the way, while she's writing a paper in Florida. So shout out to her. Hey, Carrie. Do you really want me to get into this? Do you want me to go this early, or do you guys want to go first? Because you already kind of have an idea of how I feel about Survivor Series and how it's been a shell of itself for a long time. Do you want me to go now? Do you really want me to do that?
Hey, man. More power. Uh-oh. Wait a minute.
Do we really have to do this right now?
What are we doing
What
right
are we
now?
doing? What are we doing?
Ruh-roh.
What is actually what happened that got Tom Arnone in this very ring? Like, this by far has to be a historic moment. Like, I don't know what to do.
I feel like somebody did something where we're like bracing for impact. Somebody's getting in trouble here.
Oh yeah,
Let's
somebody
see
getting
what's happening.
destroyed. It's probably
And it might be me. It might be me.
Tom, are you the reason why Brodo looks the way he does right now?
No, I have nothing to do with that. Butters, what's up, my brother?
What's up?
Good to talk to you. It's good to talk to you. Screw
Same
everybody
here.
else. Maddie, been too long. What else can I say?
It has been.
Chrome, right? We've seen each other enough.
This is like our fourth show that we've been on together this week.
I can't believe. I feel like I'm dreaming that I'm in here right now, but I'm listening. I'm trying to, add my comments and talk to you guys. And the host of the show, who does a tremendous job here, nobody's gonna question that. But what he decides to do is, does say he's got the biggest ego. Or Chrome says, man, somebody's got an ego. And then one Mr. Ritz has to just pull the gun out and take a couple shots. And to me, like, yes, he is to the portion of, where the reason he has his ego, wax on, wax off, of course.
So wait, are you taking that title? Because I didn't put a name behind it.
Listen, not my first rodeo, sir. I take full responsibility for having an ego on air, absolutely, and I'm glad it's worn off on other people. So all I wanted to come in and tell you was you're 100% right on air. That's it.
Love it.
We are talking about. I'm not going to do this on a wrestling show, so no. I'm going to leave that to myself. Sorry,
Reel it back in.
I love y'all. I talk too much. And you take shots at me. Butter's the best in the business. Matt, second.
Matt's going second. Oh, this is awesome.
Great.
See you, boy.
See you, Tom. Well, that's what happens here at In This Very Ring. You never really know what's going to happen. Tom Arnone making a special.
That was like the No Chance in Hell music hitting out of nowhere.
Yeah, somebody posted that too. Tom Arnone equals Vince McMahon. Absolutely. Wait, don't we have a gif of him walking on Vince
we
McMahon's
do.
body. We need
Oh
that.
my god!
And you're really gonna make? Hold on.
Wait,
Yes, Berto, we are going to make you to answer your question.
that moment when Tom pops in on the wrestling show.
Yes.
Oh man.
It's almost like that scene in Spaceballs. Everybody's just like, everybody knows that that I don't like this kind of jam or whatever. Yes, we do, sir. And everybody guards their nuts.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh man, that was fantastic. Okay, let's get back to it. Butters, we'll save Chrome for the end because we know Chrome's gonna go off the rails. Butters, what do you think about the poll question?
I mean, I don't think it's lost its uniqueness. I mean, yes, it's the same thing over and over, but that's what makes Survivor Series. They add a little bit here and there each year. They try to shake it up every year, and especially this year, you can only do what you can do with what you got. But has it lost its uniqueness? Nah. I feel like it's at least to me it hasn't. I feel like it's still Survivor Series, even though this year you didn't get to. I didn't get to see that go home brawl. I didn't get to see the.
Don't even get me started. Don't even get me started on that one.
Why not?
My thoughts there.
I know. We all want that go home brawl, but we didn't get that this year. Thank you, COVID, asshole.
You say that about a lot of things this year.
Brodo, what do you think?
Mr. Margarine, you're starting with me early. You're starting with me early. How can you possibly say it hasn't lost some of its uniqueness? I could literally just read you one match card. I'm just going to do it. And no disrespect to any of the competitors, but I have to do it. Women's Survivor Series tag team match. Raw versus SmackDown. Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Lacey Evans, Peyton Royce, and Lana. That might be the worst. No. There's no might in this. That is the worst team I've ever seen in my entire life. That's not a Survivor Series team. That's like a go-home show on Main Event. Like, what is that? What is that? That's not Survivor Series. That's not one of the big four major type of pay-per-views like we know. Listen, man. I just think it's turned into, and I get it, this happens because it's all about the teams and everything. It turned into, and of course I'm reading here, pre-show battle royal. So it even goes to my statement even more. It's like a get everybody in the company on the show type of a show. It's like, here, you haven't had a match in 3 years? You're on Main Event every week? Here's a match. I think things are rushed. I think things are way overplanned if they're not rushed. And at the end of the day, some of these matches, I get it, but why are we still doing the Raw versus SmackDown thing? Why? We all know it's the same show. Right after the draft, they're like, it's going to be exclusive. They still have superstars going on back-to-back shows. It's like they want to go one direction, but then they take 2 steps backwards. I don't know. No, it's definitely not Survivor Series like I know. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
And I gotta piggyback on what Ryan's saying, right? In the sense of, right after the draft, Raw versus SmackDown, all of that, it has lost its uniqueness for me. It truly has, because when you think back to, the days of, what was it, Batista on Smack. Well,
Big Mike for a big mouth.
Hey, man.
I don't know if that's what he was saying was gigantic.
Yeah. Maddie, you and I are on the same page. I don't think Butters is on the same page. I don't even think Butters is in the same book.
Does my voice sound different? Do I sound
Not really? Sounds the same.
Prism, this is my weekend voice. I don't know what to say. Continue. Please continue.
So, but I think back to like the days of when it was, on one side you had Kane and Big Show, the other side you had Orton, Batista, like those teams from 2006, 2007. 2008, 2009, like the early 2000s. That's when Survivor Series was, in my opinion, kind of at its peak. And how we got these very special traditional Survivor Series matches. And I love those. They're my favorite. I forget, I think it was the year it was in Philly. So what was that? 06? Because I moved in, it was 06 when it was in Philly. There was like 5 traditional Survivor Series matches. You know, that was when you had the Legends. That was when you had the Spirit Squad. You had DX versus Team Rated RKO. All of that. That was the peak of it. Ever since it's become brand supremacy, like, don't get me wrong, the first year they did it, it was kind of cool, right? Raw versus SmackDown, because it kind of paid homage back to the games that everybody had been playing. You know, that was cool. Okay. And then last year it had a different feel because you had NXT there, and they were keeping score throughout the night and all that. NXT did the invasion angle on when the first night they did that was SmackDown. Yeah, it was a SmackDown after Super Showdown. You know, so all of that was really cool. But this year, it's another match. To Brodo's point, we're going to get everybody on the card. It's another WrestleMania without the what's the word I'm looking for? The glory of what WrestleMania is. You know, to say I wrestled at WrestleMania. You're wrestling at Survivor Series in front of nobody I just don't get it. Maddie, what do you got?
I was gonna say, one thing I will say about this whole time where they've done the Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT shit, one golden storyline that they've never decided to do was have that one person who says, "Screw you! I'm not fighting for the brand. How does that help me?" All it does at the end of the day is it makes you look good. It doesn't make me look good. Because am I going to get a shot if we win? No. Then why the hell am I doing it,
Maddie? That's not true at all. Because how many guys have turned on the brand and helped the other brand out? Big Show being one of them. So that's not true. They say screw you. It doesn't matter with brand. It may not say beforehand, but they do it during the match. It's happened a number of times. So that's not true.
Well, I mean like in storyline and the build-up, not necessarily in the match itself.
That's part of the storyline. Is the story they tell during the match.
See, and I kind of, if I'm understanding Maddie and
I know what he's saying, but I mean that the story ends after the Survivor Series, right? So it's the build up to it, and then the story told during the match. I mean, how many times have we seen that? So I mean, that's why I agree to disagree with that big time.
Yeah, it just and I think I made this comment last year when we were talking about Survivor Series. This show, as a whole, just feels like a big pay-per-view to help push storylines along. We're not expecting anything to end. We're not expecting anything.
I was gonna say,
really
what storyline
start.
are you really pushing other than, you know, which brand's the best?
They'll tell story. They'll tell.
Yeah, they'll tell stories throughout the night, 100%. But that's all you're using this for.
That's see. Okay, can I go now?
Yes.
This is where my problem lies. I think you guys, and maybe it's because you guys, I've been around since the Survivor Series started, and I've watched it since its inception. And that's maybe dating myself, obviously, but that's where my problem is completely the opposite of what your guys' problem is. And again, maybe it's because we grew up in a different era. I have no problem with them utilizing this pay-per-view to get everybody on the card. I don't think they do enough Survivor Series matches. The premise of this whole thing from its inception up until the probably mid to late 90s, up until the late 90s, because they even did it, the first 10 to 12 years of this pay-per-view was exactly that. It was Survivor Series matches. Maybe you get a title match or two in the middle of it, but that's what it was. And it wasn't even about bragging rights. It was about just bragging rights in general. And that's where, and stars were made, guys, because it didn't have to be a match that had all top name superstars. But when you would have these matches and you would have these guys who were the sole survivors who came back to fight back and take, you know, they're down 3-1 and they would come back and end up winning the match, you would make superstars through those matches. That's my problem, is that it's not enough of that. That it's now become a pay-per-view with a Survivor Series match or two thrown in, and then they seem forced. Now they make it seem like it's people who we have nothing to do with, instead of it being the premise and having a purpose for all of them to be there and to participate in it. Now they threw they got rid of the bragging rights pay-per-view and essentially infused that with this now. That's fine. That's cool. Whatever. But again, I want to see more Survivor Series matches if you're doing that. Because then, to me, it's hokey. It's hokey and it's useless. I don't like that they haven't been the Survivor Series since the 90s. That's my problem. At this point, the Survivor Series match is just a gimmick match. It's not a pay-per-view anymore, in my opinion. That's why I don't like it. Absolutely. It hasn't been over the last couple of years. It lost its luster probably right around 98 when they did the Deadly Games pay-per-view. And that was the one where they had the title tournament. And I was honestly okay with that because it still fit the premise. That was fine. But 98 changed what the premise of the Survivor Series was. They started scaling back the Survivor Series matches and making it more about other matches and storylines and this and that. And that's where it started to get away from what this pay-per-view was supposed to be. And for me, that's where it lost its luster. Like, for someone who grew up in that era, and I wish Pete was on with us because I know Pete would agree with me on this. It was your all-star game. I know people say, oh, well, the Royal Rumble's like your all-star game, but it's not. This was your all-star game. This was teams of guys teamed up to work together that you don't normally see. And you had tons of them over and over and over. It was phenomenal. Go back, especially if you are a fan of some of the talent from the 80s and 90s, and you go back and watch some of them and you like watching a little bit of older wrestling, if you go back and watch those pay-per-views, it's a totally different vibe. But that's what made it so special. Now it's just a pay-per-view with a couple gimmick matches. And that's my problem. It's the reverse of some of these other pay-per-views to where, Hell in a Cell, now they made it a pay-per-view and that match isn't special anymore. Okay? Money in the Bank, I don't even feel like Money in the Bank is as special anymore because of the pay-per-view they made out of it. However, this is the reverse because they downsize the amount of matches that they have. It's actually, to me, diminished the meaning of the match.
Right, and I completely agree with everything you said. Having more Survivor Series matches. That's why I like the one, like I made mention, the one that was in Philly, and I just pulled that up. What year was that? That was 2006. Yeah, that's probably one of my favorites because it had, at least in my lifetime, I think the most Survivor Series matches on the card. In like 4, I think is what it was. Because I like the idea behind it, the Survivor Series match. You look at a match like a year like 98, because I pulled it up while you were talking, Chrome. There's not a single traditional Survivor Series match on that card. It's literally built around the tournament.
You could go even a step further. There was only like a handful of times a Survivor Series match even ended Survivor Series. 2001 is just one. In the Attitude Era, that's the only time that a Survivor Series elimination tag team match ended the night.
The original Survivor Series concept was a series of matches, and then the survivors of those matches then competed in a final Survivor Series match to close out the card. That's what the original concept of it was. They've gotten away from that. And I was okay when they got away from that. Like, okay, let's take all the winners and bring them back out again. That didn't need to happen. However, they totally got away from the concept of this. And again, this pay-per-view used to be an opportunity where you could tell storylines in the middle. Go back to Survivor Series 94 when you had the Bad Guys versus the Teamsters to open Survivor Series 94. That's where they started to tell the story of, they build up to that was Shawn Michaels being the captain of the Teamsters, and they had Big Daddy Cool Diesel. And then in that match, Shawn Michaels super kicks Diesel in the face, and that's where the breakup began. They managed to still do these matches and then still tell storylines and then also build stars in these storylines. It was one of the few times a year where you could get a lot of people on the card and have an opportunity to expose them to build their characters. It's gone. They don't do it anymore. And that's my problem with it. It isn't the Survivor Series to me. It's a pay-per-view with a Survivor Series or 2 matches. That's it.
I have 2 things on that. Number one, I don't disagree with Chrome at all, even though it's a different reason. My question to you, Chrome, and pretty much everybody, is that would you say, because I personally, I would, I'm speaking as me, but would you say you have the same kind of issue with let's say, the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view, to where it's called Hell in a Cell, but they only have one Hell in a Cell match, or TLC, to where it's one TLC match. And even when we see there, that doesn't always mean that, because they can't even go with it's one Hell in a Cell match, but it's main eventing. We've seen Hell in a Cell pay-per-views and TLC pay-per-views where it's only one match and it's not even headlining the entire event. It's kind of just a throw-in. Now, and I understand certain ones like the TLC pay-per-views, they'll have a chair match and a ladder match and a table match, so they can get away with it a little bit more. But would you say they kind of, or like the Elimination Chamber is the other perfect example, to where it's called Elimination Chamber, but you look at all the matches and it's a majority of just normal singles matches?
So I'll respond first to that. Hell in a Cell. So my issue with those, and again, I look at Survivor Series totally different, because from its inception and what made it special, it was a pay-per-view built around the concept from the get-go. However, I look at these other ones now, with the exception of maybe Money in the Bank. I knew I kind of lumped that in, but I will take that back, because I do think Money in the Bank is special. Mm-hmm. Still, I thought it was more special at WrestleMania, but as its own standalone pay-per-view, it does still feel big to me. But when I look at Hell in a Cell, I remember when the first Hell in a Cell match took place in '97. I remember when the first couple happened. I remember with the Undertaker and Mankind, watching that live. And it was special because that was used as a, we're at the point now where there's nothing left. This is the last chance that we have, that we have to get, our feud is this bad that we're at this point that we have to go in this monstrous structure, right? And when I look at that, having a pay-per-view built around it, whether it's one match or four matches, to me, takes its specialness away. I like the fact that we never knew when one was going to happen. And this goes with Elimination Chamber as well. I like that we never knew when it was going to happen. But when we knew it was going to happen, we were like, oh, shit. Like, this is the point we're at this feud. Now it's just very forced. Like, okay, we know we're going to have this. Whatever the big feud is going to happen then, whatever. It doesn't feel special. Real quick, and then I'll digress. When it comes to TLC, I agree with you in sort of. I think they've done a decent job with that by not making it all just TLC matches and incorporating a tables match, a ladders match, a chairs match, whatever. I think that kind of works. I don't love it still. Again, TLC, it was a match that they built a pay-per-view around, not a pay-per-view built around a match, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So that's why I always hold Survivor Series in just a whole different stratosphere than those ones. But I get what you're saying. I don't have as much of an issue with TLC. With some of the other ones, I do. But either way, I would rather them not have these stupid gimmicky pay-per-views.
I agree.
So those matches can feel special. Now I expect it. It doesn't feel like a feud has hit this boiling point that we're there. Like, I'm waiting for them to have like the Boiler Room Brawl pay-per-view at some point. Like every little gimmick. I brought that up obviously for a reason because of what we're talking about later. But like, it shocks me they didn't do something like that, or the Buried Alive pay-per-view where every pay-per-view someone gets buried alive.
Everybody's dying.
Well,
it's so weird to me.
Even NXT. Go ahead, Butters.
I was about to say, how about a parking lot brawl match? Everything's outside.
Oh God. Well, I mean, I guess they could just do the last man standing thing. But even with last man standing or falls count anywhere, it's probably going in a damn parking lot or on a roof somewhere.
Yeah.
But you're even, to Chrome's point real quick, you're even starting to see NXT do it with War Games. And granted, War Games, it's still, I don't think it's at the stale point yet just because they've just brought it back a couple of years ago. But you see, listen, instead of them having a War Games match every year or every other year, they have a freaking damn pay-per-view surrounding it. You know what
exactly.
I'm saying?
Well, real quick to Ryan's point, I don't have a problem with that because I feel like every time they do it, it's going to be that. I have a problem with it being around the same time every year because now we expect it. It's one thing to say, you know what, like you said, oh man, we have, NXT TakeOver War Games is in July, and then maybe a feud gets so hot that it takes until November next time, but then it comes in November, and then you know what I mean? Like kind of vary when it's done to make that match feel more special. I do still enjoy that. Like you said, I think it's fresh enough. However, I agree. I think if they varied it and then did that, that's different.
So you guys touched on a lot of stuff, and I liked a lot of what you guys said. I'm gonna preface all of that. Every time we talk Hell in a Cell, I always bring up Lethal Lockdown that TNA did, and how it got so like it killed cage matches for me in that aspect because every single match was in a cage.
Yep.
Right. I don't think like if you're gonna do an Elimination Chamber, if you're gonna do a Hell in a Cell, if you're gonna do a TLC, or even to Ryan's new point, War Games, I don't think every match should be contested in that style.
Agreed.
I do like the fact that with TLC, we kind of build to a TLC match throughout the pay-per-view, right? In the sense of you have a chairs match, you have a tables match, then you have the ladder match, then you have the match that kind of brings it all together. And, it typically, is towards the end of the night. There isn't one instance that stands out where it wasn't a TLC match to close out TLC. And then with War Games, I love the fact that they pulled War Games away from this weekend. Because up until Wednesday night, and I didn't know it until Butters told me today, that was a network exclusive. That happened even after the show went off the air. So nobody knew, like we'd all talked about it, right? This has to go to War Games. This Undisputed Era, Pat McAfee thing has to go to a War Games match.
Even Shotzi alluded to it.
Yeah. But now that's, what is it, December 6th? Right? It's not connected to Survivor Series weekend, which I'm okay with. I'm okay with it not being connected.
One thing I will say, though, sorry, Chrome.
No, you're good. You're good.
I was gonna say one advantage though that NXT does have is they don't have a takeover every month, so that's one good thing they got on that end where they can let things breathe. So when you do get to War Games, even if you know what weekend it's going to happen, there's chances for the rivalries to really build up to it. Whereas if you're doing a pay-per-view every single month, sometimes you get those rivalries that have lost steam, but because they're the main event rivalry, they're getting put in that match. And you're like, really? This rivalry has no steam going for it. It sucks. Why are we putting it in the Hell in a Cell? You don't want that.
See, I'm thrilled that they have kind of started to pull some of these NXT takeovers off of being the same weekend as other pay-per-views. I like that much better. As much as I like, Mania weekend and stuff, I like it for that. And SummerSlam, I like it for that. Maybe even Rumble. I don't feel like it needs to be Survivor Series weekend. I thought that was overkill. Like last year, there was a lot of concern. I know that. It was talked about with, potential injuries coming out of the War Games when they incorporated the NXT brand into it. And for good reason. It's not necessary. But, I like that they're kind of doing that. It kind of feels like you get a little bit burned out watching two of them back-to-back nights. It's a weekend commitment that I don't know that I always want to have to make. So I'm glad that they kind of have started to slowly differentiate a little bit.
100%. I mean, even like it's been popping up on all my memories and things like that from when Survivor Series was here in Houston. And I didn't even have to travel for that one, right? That was exhausting doing War Games Saturday night, Survivor Series Sunday, Raw, SmackDown Monday, Tuesday. That was how that whole weekend had been set up. That was exhausting just going to it. I couldn't imagine having to be one of those few people that was on every single night.
Dude, I did. Like, think about Mania, man.
Oh God!
I went to Mania in Orlando, and we did, like I've done both SmackDown, Raw, Hall of Fame, Takeover, WrestleMania. Dude, I love wrestling, but that is a lot of, and plus add Access and WrestleCon in. I've done the full weekend. That's a lot.
Why do you think when we did Brooklyn, was it Brooklyn? It was either Brooklyn or it was New Orleans. I don't remember which, because those were back-to-back years for us. There was one day where we just said we're not leaving the hotel room till like 1. We're sleeping. We slept that day away. Screw it. It was exhausting.
I will say really quick, because I know we've been kind of, crushing the last handful of years, the recent years for Survivor Series. And I think this goes full circle to everything when we talk about, what's the true formula to making it, Survivor Series, not what it was, because, we know the product's different than what it was, back in the 90s or even the early 2000s. But, to make it formidable, to make it entertaining in its own type of a style, I think last year's Survivor Series, I thought it was an excellent pay-per-view. I really, truly do.
Best one they've had in years, Ryan.
Absolutely.
Yes. I think it was one of their best pay-per-views they've had in many, many years, to be honest.
And I'll put it out there. It's probably an unpopular opinion. The wrestling hasn't been all that horrible. Like the actual wrestling on Survivor Series. It's just how it's been presented and how we end up getting there. The actual wrestling's great.
But I'll say this, and I'll ask you guys, your opinion before I answer, but why do you think it is? Like, why do you honestly believe? Because I know, to me, I know why I loved it so much more. But, like, to you guys, why do you think this random, let's say for 6 years straight, Survivor Series was kind of just blah, but then all of a sudden a random Survivor Series in 2019 is, fantastic. Why do you guys think that is?
There's your answer right there.
Yeah, I felt like last year, the whole incident that happened with coming home from Saudi Arabia and NXT having to step up to help fill in SmackDown, I felt like it was a perfect storm that happened for them, and it kind of opened the door for that concept to happen. I would also say, for a lot of the reasons that I gave for why I dislike it, it felt like that, even though it was presented differently, and even though maybe they didn't have as many Survivor Series matches, but incorporating NXT and incorporating the NXT superstars in other matches, it did feel like an all-star event. It felt special. And the thing that I miss is having those moments to create new stars. And I felt like that actually last year was a huge opportunity that they took advantage of to present these young stars who, if you watch NXT, which a lot of us obviously do, about them. But for the people who only watch the main roster programming, that was basically presenting a whole new world to them in a fantastic way. It felt special. It was different. And that's what I felt like a big deal for me.
And you call it the All-Star game, in a sense, right? With them keeping score and everything like that. Butters, you and I sat in at Cards and Comics and watched it last year, keeping score, keeping track of everything. There was a different feel and a different hype about it, to Chrome's point.
Big time.
And I think a lot of that was the fact that they kept score. And it I don't say it mattered because, there was no title to be won or anything like that, but here was NXT. Here were the new guys. Here was the next generation being introduced to a different fan base, and they won the night, right? Both in the ring as far as on matches, and then you had certain stars that was the weekend of Rhea Ripley. Keith Lee shined that night, just to name a few. Those were two people that stood out.
Roddy, I thought Roddy looked phenomenal.
Yes, there was another one that looked great that weekend.
That was a brand showing that, we are the future, and here's why.
Yeah, you guys.
That card was definitely built around NXT to prop them up, but it was great. That's what I want.
And I remember I remember Chrome, Maddie, we talked about it on Thursdays back then. We were talking about, man, are they going to protect a guy like Walter? Are we going to see the Walter versus Braun Strowman kind of face-off, or the Walter versus Drew McIntyre type of a face-off? That we were also talking about, to your point, Andy, about, Keith Lee. Are we going to see him really steal the shine? I remember at the end, I was watching it like it was a damn WrestleMania match when it was down to Roman Reigns and Keith Lee. And how not only me, but we look at the entire crowd, I guarantee you, people watching at home, obviously the people in the crowd because they're more of the hardcore fans, but people were probably like, oh, who's this Keith Lee guy? Damn, he's great. Same thing for Rhea Ripley, and you go all the way around it. And I do believe a big part of why last year's was so great was because of NXT, especially the way they mixed in the NXT showcase match for the title, which was Pete Dunne versus Adam Cole, and to your point, Chrome putting Roderick Strong in there in the triple threat with AJ and Nakamura. But to me, above that, it was just different. It was different. It wasn't the same thing of, oh well, SmackDown versus Raw, and the past couple weeks, they're gonna brawl. Here's the part of the feud where these two are gonna brawl, and they're gonna say, oh, this show is better. Like at this point, it doesn't matter how good the teams are, because it's just the same process again and again and again. And it showed even them doing the same process last year, but just adding that third team, how refreshing that was. They could just do the same thing, but just adding one extra layer, it's all of a sudden so much better. Mm-hmm. It's almost hilarious how simple it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey guys, you could do the same thing you've done for the last 30 years, but just add one more layer to it. That's it. That's all you gotta do.
But Ryan, doesn't this city base themselves around trusting the process?
No, now you're gonna get me angry. Now you're gonna get me angry.
That was only because Chrome was wearing the Sixers hat,
and I couldn't help myself.
You're gonna get me angry now. I am angry now because me, Tom, and Chrome, and Jake, and Ralphie, but mostly just the four before I said Ralphie, because Ralphie is Ralphie. I will say that we put ourselves on the line last night. I felt like we were doing a damn telethon. We were doing 10 hours of radio. Felt like we were going to do 20 hours of radio. My voice is gone. I've got nothing left. And you're talking to me about trust the process when we have a new regime in here. We're trying to get Brian Colangelo back in here with the burners. You're doing this to me. Are you doing it? I understand.
I at least got it.
I understand you live down in Houston and that organization is in flames. I understand it, but do not bring the fire to me.
Damn, Andy, you just turned this man into the Incredible Hulk. Yes, somebody change his picture.
Thank you for Daryl Morey, and pretty soon, thank you for James Harden.
You're very welcome.
Yeah. I will say though, it was kind of funny when we went over to Chrome's to watch SummerSlam, and just to see the reaction of everybody with the Sixers getting swept, it was like watching a loved one pass away tragically. That's literally what the feeling was like around there.
Was it? Because I kind of felt like we were all like, well, yeah,
it was
kind of what we saw coming.
But that's my point. Like, it's coming. It's just, it's just here it comes.
I haven't seen Maddie in months, and the first time he sees me, I'm bitching and complaining about the Sixers. I'm like, "Oh, Maddie, hi." I haven't seen you in 8 months, Maddie, but yeah, things haven't changed. I'm still miserable. Yeah, I'm still here.
Still suck.
Well, the Eagles aren't helping the case at all.
No, Maddie, don't say that here. Don't say that here.
Who did you? We don't have a football team right now. Who?
Maddie, don't.
Okay, name redacted. Gotcha. Moving on.
Are you talking about the team that lost even in a Madden simulation on Kep's Corner right before this show?
Oh my God, they lost the simulation?
They lost the simulation.
I was
12 to
prepping
10.
this one. I didn't see how it ended.
12 to 10? Well, I guess Doug didn't run the ball.
And they had 47 seconds with the ball left to drive down the field, and they did not go no huddle.
Are y'all even going to have a team after this year?
Butters, they're eventually going to be known as the Artists, formerly known as the 2017/2018 Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl champions. 20 years from now, that's what they'll be because, got that one.
So everybody's going to compare them to the Cowboys 20 years from now. Got it.
Margarine, now you're upsetting me again. You're upsetting me again.
So, anyway, let's bring this all back full circle.
But we were having so much fun.
You're the one that took it off the damn rails. Blame yourself.
I didn't. Yeah, but you know what? I forgot about the Butters factor, and, well, I don't need to be searching for a new co-host during the holidays. Right, if you don't mean that, I'm disappointed in you.
I don't know what I'm going to do anymore, Andy. Okay, I just don't know what I'm going to do.
We kind of talked history of Survivor Series for a long time. So let's just kind of highlight some stuff from this week in wrestling. Drew McIntyre's a new WWE champion.
Hold on, I got to say something. Sorry, Andy, you were right last week. Move on.
Thank you. I love predicting the future here.
I can't believe I said that, but whatever.
It's
Andy,
the best.
can I say the same comment that I said to you the night Drew McIntyre won? Can I say what I said?
Absolutely.
That Randy Orton is like the new Sasha Banks of the WWE, where they're just stat padding all of her championship victories.
Trying to get Orton to that Sweet 16.
Yeah, like he's like the new Russell Westbrook of the WWE. All stats, but no substance.
Damn.
How do you guys feel about McIntyre winning the title?
Yeah.
It's another match.
Good answer, guys.
Love the
I
enthusiasm.
was fine with it. I had no problem with it.
The entrance was amazing. Don't get me wrong.
I felt like when he lost the title, I definitely felt like they were going to wait it out. I don't know. Part of me says maybe they had a plan, and maybe the plan isn't going according to what they originally thought. Maybe Edge had a setback because I thought maybe Edge might be coming back to get that feud going at some point.
Screw Orton out of that match with Roman.
I have no problem. Listen, I agree. I do disagree heavily with Ryan in the fact that I agree that with padding stats. However, I disagree with him with no substance because Randy Orton to me is still one of their most compelling characters and has been for years and years and years.
No,
and he continues to stay relevant.
The no substance thing was a shot at Westbrook.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, my apologies then.
No, Randy Orton, while I think he's extremely boring sometimes, no, he's all right. He's cool.
I mean, to me, he's still been through the pandemic has been one of their best characters, and for a good chunk of that, carried them when they needed it. So even if it's just a small nod to give him another notch on his belt as a thank you for that, I'm fine with that too. All of his matches with Drew have been great.
Yep.
And hey, maybe it's not about Pat Norton. Maybe it's about getting McIntyre up to that 16 at some point.
Oh God.
We don't need any more at 16, dear Lord.
As long as they don't win with a backslide, I'm cool. Yeah, I still haven't gotten over it.
You didn't like the fact that Leon Ruff won with a backslide?
That was at Chrome's, right? Chrome didn't it happen at you were watching it? Maddie knows. I nearly fell in the pool. I
actually heard about that.
That was SummerSlam, yep.
I felt like I was like playing either 2K or one of the old games where if you beat an opponent down enough, a backslide could get the job done. It literally felt like a video game ending.
And listen,
backslide or a fruit roll up.
Let's be honest right now. I mean, as cool as I thought it would be to have Roman and Orton, because I don't really know that they've ever really had a feud that I can think of, a singles feud. I know with the Shield that he's been a part of a group that's going after them.
Yep.
Storyline wise, conceptually it really doesn't make sense. But to kind of go back into the well, I know they did Drew and they did Roman at WrestleMania 35, and that was a little bit underwhelming. But to see where Drew is elevated to at this point and how hot Roman is as a heel, I do think that this is the right time to go to that at a point where, you don't have to worry about somebody losing a title match or dropping a title. This is a way that you can go to that, have that big featured marquee match at a point where they're really hot as a face and a heel, and I don't think really damage anybody. So.
Yeah, no, completely. And I kind of saw it when they were bringing Drew out on SmackDown. Like, the writing was on the wall there.
Sure.
And the thought has crossed my mind, is Randy hurt? Did he aggravate something? And they're like, you know what, screw it. This is a time right now where we can get you off TV. No, you don't think so?
Not at all. No. He wouldn't have had a 30-minute match with Drew on Raw then.
Fair point.
I mean, and then it's been the past, maybe skip last year, but 3 or 4 years before that, they've changed the title right before Survivor Series.
I was just about to bring that up. Yeah, a title match has changed right before Survivor Series.
Did you guys notice Drew? Or right as the referee counted 3, Orton give Drew a pat on the backside as he was getting up?
Yep.
No, I missed that. I'll have to go back and
Yep.
watch it. I missed
Complimentary. You got it, kid. Way to go. Woo!
Putting him over.
Let's see.
Hey,
Daniel Bryan beat
Ritz, you a
What?
little jealous of John Morrison
why?
getting a face full of bliss?
Oh, well, yeah.
Oh.
When did John Morrison age like 25 years, by the way? He looks so old all of a sudden. Does anybody else not think that? I looked at him like
all the
last
time.
2 weeks, and I'm like, yo, when did he turn 50?
That fountain of youth he was, drinking from, it officially ran out. So now he looks all haggard and old and shit.
That hairline is definitely shifting.
Well, I don't know. I think his wife took all the fountain of youth from him.
Yo, I love me some Taya, bro. I love me some Taya.
100%.
I hung out with Taya in New Orleans at WrestleMania 34, and we had a good time taking shots.
Quit rubbing it in.
Here, see what you did, Butters. See what you
Quit
did.
rubbing it in. Yeah, he just has to name drop that every time.
Next, he's going to be bringing up that he met John Cena.
I was just trying to ask if Rich was jealous.
I love the fact he did that. That was fucking perfect. But it's either the Fountain of Youth gone or Karma's catching up with him because he bedazzled his abs all those years ago.
Yeah, I'm with Maddie on that one. I'm with Maddie.
It's not Fountain of Youth. It's because you had bedazzled abs. Got it. Bray Wyatt had a match on Raw. Not much there. But the Firefly Funhouse segment was fantastic.
I'll say this. It means nothing, but I'm a big fan of Alexa Bliss's new theme.
Yes.
Big fan. Big fan of that.
Yes. Everything they're doing with Alexa and Bray is perfect right now.
Could not agree more.
She looks
100%.
so much better in this darker look than, in the past, in my opinion.
Listen, I mean, she looks good anyway. I'm taking looks out of it. This character, the character that we're seeing right now is freaking, and I love seeing it from someone that we wouldn't have seen it coming from.
Very true. Very true.
Sorry about that.
No, you're not.
I am.
Gosh,
you should
always
you should
ruining everything. What the hell,
It was
man?
It's the one text I actually had to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the only one you got.
Actually, let me think. Yeah, no. That's like one of the first texts I've gotten all day. It's been very quiet over here today.
That's a shocker. It's usually never quiet with you.
Yeah, well, work sucked. Balor came back to NXT
Oh, that was so great.
and
Love
brought UE back with them. The whole promo, that whole segment was good.
You know, it's interesting too, guys. I loved all that. It makes you wonder, are they not necessarily going there right away, but are they have a little bit of time before he's ready to step into the ring? Are they opening the door to have some kind of an alignment with him and UE at this point?
I don't know. See, like, Balor posted a picture on his Instagram.
I saw the picture, yeah.
I love that
If I
picture.
remember, but see, and this is where I love social media because it was a fan art. Somebody made the photo for Balor, so Balor posted it and put at the bottom, Finn art is what he calls it. But the entire world said, "Oh, hey, look, they're bringing back the club. They're gonna all join forces." But I could see them doing something where, like, they're kind of, I don't want to say his protectors or whatever, but there's that alliance there, like you said, almost like we know you can't really defend yourself thing, so we got your back.
Yeah.
But I love social media because they took that and they blew it. Like, everybody was reporting it too. like it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. And it's like, no. And then literally he posts that. I think it was like the next night is when the UE stuff happened. So I was like, well, there we go.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're closing the door on it. I don't think that's something necessarily that was planned in terms of it's a definitive, but they've done things before where they tease it and see how it works and the excitement that generates from it. You know, they have time to work it out for his return. I would love it. I would absolutely love it.
Even if it is for a few months, it would be amazing.
I hear a dog keeping away from the. Only Frank would say that.
Poor Pepper.
Oh, speaking of gimmick pay-per-views, when are we going to see that? When are we going to see that pay-per-view?
Wait, what pay-per-view are you talking about, Maddie?
The Dog Kennel from Hell pay-per-view.
Okay,
Come on
now. Okay, see, none of us were there. All of us.
He said, "Keep it away from the boss, man." It's one of the most infamous matches in WWE history.
Jeez.
Andy, this is what happened when you ask questions.
I know.
Things like
What
this
I just need to shut up.
See,
but hey, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's never going to happen.
Yeah, no kidding. So it finally happened. Friday night, we saw the true final end-all, be-all. It's over with the Rey Mysterio, Seth Rollins, Dominic, Aaliyah, Buddy Murphy. It's over. It's done.
Yeah.
No more. Finito.
Sure.
Right is not buying it.
Yeah. I mean, 4 years ago they told me Sasha and Bailey was done. Right? That's cute. Yeah. They told me 9 months ago that Baron Corbin and Roman Reigns with the dog food was done. Yeah. But I'm sure we'll never see this again, right? No, never.
Live next week on SmackDown, Seth Rollins versus the Mysterio family and Buddy Murphy.
Ric Flair also said he would never wrestle again. Ooh. Shawn Michaels also said he'd never wrestle again. Ooh. John Cena, the Nexus retired John Cena, right? And Randy Orton and him hugged in the parking lot.
You done? You done?
No. I guarantee you. Book it. Next week, you're going to see Rey Mysterio versus Seth Rollins in a dog kennel from hell match.
I swear to God, if that ends up happening, I'm leaving.
And that
no, you won't.
The country.
And
no,
that
you won't.
Is not lazy booking. That is definitely not lazy booking.
And the special guest referee has to be K-Dog Conan all the way. Has to be.
No. The special guest referee is Rey Mysterio's missing eye.
Which magically, if you guys saw, the eye patch ripped off of the mask and his eyes completely fine again.
Didn't he rip it off the mask himself?
I don't even remember. I don't know. It all blends together.
It really does.
All 39 matches blend together at this point.
And Natalya joins the SmackDown women's team. So it's the Riot Squad of Liv Morgan and Ruby Riott, Bailey, Bianca Belair, and Natalya.
When did Bailey get on this?
Bailey got in on it.
She was put on the team by Adam Pearce.
Oh,
I mean, first of all, Bailey should be in this match. There's no question she should be in this match.
I don't know. I guess I missed it.
Yeah, Adam Pearce announced at the beginning of SmackDown. I don't know why it took this long to get her on the card, but Natalya, man, please go away. Like, to me, this was like an opportunity, right? Where, again, missed opportunity. You know, you have this amazing, amazing match between Rhea Ripley and Io Shirai on NXT. And I looked at that as, man, this could be an opportunity that you could bring Rhea in, whether it's to bring her up or just to make another appearance. Have her crash the party of that match and say, you know what, we're going to add a third person to it, a mystery opponent, and have Rhea come out and get her on the goddamn card. But no, we
here it comes. There it goes. I knew it was coming.
Really good at not cursing on shows, guys. I've been really making a conscious effort, but fucking Natalia. Are you
So
kidding me?
Do you just have it out for the entire Hart family?
It sounds like
I
it.
like Natalia, man, but like, come on, man, we got to move on at some point.
I mean, yeah, they could have put Tamina on there, but then where would they
It's
get you?
over.
Oh,
I would
don't do
at
that
this
to
rate.
me.
I'd have rather had Tamina on there.
Why, so she could stay in there?
Do one kick and then get eliminated.
They still have to hear about somebody being a fucking boat with cat ears on their head.
I'm sorry. I heard that and I thought it was a joke at first. And then
I thought
somebody
they screwed it up.
So did
thought
I.
they messed it up.
And somebody then actually said it again. And I was like, wait, no, this is real. Wait. And I like you say it, yeah, I'm the boat. And all I do is laugh.
Like, I don't know what's a worse gimmick. The whiny boat Natalia or the I have to fart all the time flatulence Natalia. I can't figure it out. I don't know. I actually feel like I'd rather have flatulence Natalia back at this point.
I mean, to be fair, they both have their negatives and positives.
Oh wait, no. Please enlighten me.
I mean, for one, you get to see that, you know what? Farting isn't just a storyline that involves male wrestlers. It also involves female wrestlers. We're breaking down the barriers of gender here, and we're allowing storylines to involve everybody nowadays.
So is that Vince's new way for the women's revolution? Instead of them doing the pay-per-view, it's
that's his
storyline?
hashtag feminism.
I can't.
God bless America.
All right, nope. God bless
you're the dumbass who asked. It's your fault.
Yeah, well, I wasn't thinking you were going to go there.
Andy, that's strike two now. That's
hey, it's my show.
I understand, but I'm just saying there's a lot of strikes that happen on Saturday nights.
Somebody put him in timeout for once.
Oh, I do have that capability.
Yeah, I know.
And so does Maddie has that capability too.
Damn it!
I do,
right.
but I'm not going to use it. It's not hockey happy hour. I'm going to be hands off today.
That's very responsible of you.
Very kind of you.
I probably won't be as responsible, but I haven't got myself
With great power comes great responsibility.
I'm not near the button yet, so I have to make my way over there.
Who
But you
here
have to
is
understand,
responsible?
I'm not the Survivor Series captain. It's his job to do it. So,
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking.
Oh, crap.
Boom.
All right, let's dive. Prism saying, can we get Vince and Shane in the ring one more time before it's too late, age-wise, doing something and have quote-unquote God, a.k.a. Spotlight, people run in on him and then take solid ass whooping.
oh my god. Oh, that's
I'm not trying to go off the rails, but who greenlit that? Like, who greenlit a damn spotlight? Be like, oh, okay.
Like how did Shawn Michaels go along with it as much of a holy type person that he acts like? How could he go along with that?
Compromise. They probably wanted to dress someone up as God.
oh my god.
And Shawn was like, no, just make it a light.
Butters, you have it all wrong. You know why he went along with it? Because they said, hey, you're winning the match. And Shawn's like, oh, okay, all right. Oh, if I'm winning, okay, good. Because God forbid I'm not doing this.
Oh, the puns are just rolling right now. It's great.
You might as well finish it now. You started, but you might as well finish it now.
I mean, I'm going to be that guy. I enjoyed that storyline. I still enjoy that storyline. In an era now where we have the broken universe and everything else, it was ahead of its time.
Yeah,
what
6
was
months
the one
later.
that got you?
Think
What
of now how many fucking snowflakes in this day and age would be just all over it.
Well, no. Even think about it even more. They had that segment, and then 6 months later, Mordecai showed up.
Oh my God, that's right.
Christ. And he had fucking, those white fucking dyed eyebrows. What the fuck was
they
that?
look
Seriously.
horrible.
Oh my
Listen.
god.
We're in an era of wrestling where Johnny Bravo is getting shot on Impact. Okay, nothing is off the table. Vince and Shane versus Shawn and God was ahead of its time.
Let's go back. Johnny Bravo gets shot on air, and the only person that cares is Tommy Dreamer. Dreamer's the only one that's like, wait, what happened? And looking around, guys, do something.
Hey,
Then he comes in looking like the Great Mouse Detective, interviewing people.
Hey, Tommy's a good man. Tommy's a very good man.
Nobody said he wasn't.
He cares, okay? His power is that he cares.
He's a very holy man.
But I will
just
say,
like Shawn Michaels.
Could you imagine if Bruce Pritchard came out as God?
I actually would have preferred it, actually.
So wait,
he says, I love you to everybody.
There are moments where I wish I could have been in the writer's room when these things were pitched. This is one of them.
Oh no, I'm glad I wasn't in there because I would have been throwing elbows. There had been a fight there. I'd be holding their faces. What the hell is wrong with you?
I don't want to talk about it. I just want to watch. I would just put me in like some rafters over the room. I'll just watch.
No, you see the fly on the wall.
That's where you guys are sadly mistaken. I don't even think there was a meeting over that. Vince walked in and said, "Listen up, pal. This is what we're gonna do. Such good shit.
We're gonna have God on TV."
I really do think that meeting was just between Shane, Vince, Shawn, and God.
Well, yeah, either that, Butters, or to your point from before, they were originally going to have somebody do it and play God. Hell, it probably was the Great Khali, but they couldn't get him to make it. They probably couldn't get him up the stairs, and they're like, "Well, Khali's still on step number 2, so we're just going to put a light in the middle of the ring. Here we go."
Listen, they signed God to a Legends contract. Come out, have a match, and then he's locked in and he's under a Legends deal now.
You know what's sad? That's something that WWE would 100% do just so Vince could profitize God.
What, you guys didn't get to meet God at Access? I did.
No, I'm sorry. I missed that line.
But you know what the funny part is, too? If it was possible...
VIP?
What's his name, Bret Hart?
That should change, though.
If you ask Bret, it will be.
That's exactly it. It.
I would say this, though. If that storyline could have had it, if Vince could have done this, he would have cloned himself to play God and have good Vince versus bad Vince just right there in the middle of the ring.
If that technology ever happens, I want good Vince versus bad Vince.
But we have to get the devil horn, Vince, if we're going to do this. If we're going to go all the way with it, then.
Now, there's a match that I want to see before they die. I don't want it. But let me be very clear. I don't want it to happen in a wrestling ring. I want it to happen in a cage. Put these assholes on Fight Island and just let them go. And let Vince be the ref.
Put them on Fight Island, and then everybody just leave them stranded there. Get on a boat, get the fuck out, pack up, and leave.
And just watch as they try to either kill each other or coexist. It's the new Survivor.
That's the new Survivor series right there.
Yeah, there we go.
I sadly do believe that they coexist longer than a day. I don't think it happened.
What the?
It's Ralphie.
Oh God.
No, Ralphie's not smart enough to do that. That's Frank.
It's Frank.
Oh no. What the hell is
I'm so scared. I don't know what's going to happen.
You got lights flickering.
Frank, put your balls away.
You know, here's what's sad. The people that are going to listen to this on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Speaker, whatever the hell podcast service they use, are going to be looking at their phone going, what the
All right,
fuck?
I'll give them a description. We're looking at a chair in a dark room, and the lights were flickering on and off once. That's it. That is all we are fucking looking at right now.
No.
Yeah. Sure, pal.
I didn't know God was invisible. Who knew?
I didn't know God sounded like Frank Vespi.
Well, if we hear lightning cracking over the
Oh, yeah.
What did God say?
I could literally hear the light switch, Frank.
I can hear the light switch louder than his actual voice.
Damn, Frank,
All right,
next
get out
time
of here.
Frank, just do the Macho Man next time. It was better.
All right, let's get into the Survivor Series. Oh
shit, we got a show. That's right.
Oh, God the
Oh.
Diddler. Oh,
God the Diddler. Good one.
I think
Good
on that
gimmick.
note, that's where we move on.
yeah.
That's where we reel it back.
Looks like it's time for me to be hitting the old dusty trail.
All right, so do we even want to try to guess who's going to win this dual brand battle royal? There's nobody announced for it. So
Big E.
Nope.
Yeah, I think we should all guess. Yeah.
All right.
That's not a bad guess.
No, I don't think it's a bad guess because I think Big E ends up taking Seth's place in the men's Survivor Series match.
Is Seth out?
He's not out, but supposedly there's a news report going around that they were going to figure out a way to work Big E into the match this past Friday night on SmackDown.
And you think Seth is the way they go?
Mm-hmm. They say Seth's injured or something like that, and they put in Big E. We all know Seth's going away soon.
But why would he? What happened to him that he would be injured?
I
Why would
mean,
they pull Seth out?
Murphy could attack him behind the scenes.
Like, I love Big E, but Seth is a bigger name than Big E. You're not pulling Seth out.
The only other way is with Jay Uso losing to Daniel Bryan.
Roman pulls him.
But the reports just floating around that they were trying to get Big E into the 5-on-5 match.
I mean, that would make what Butter said would make more sense.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, that he's, Roman's ashamed of his loss and he pulls him out of the match. And then the winner of the Battle Royal takes that spot and it ends up being Big E or whatever.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. Maddie, Ryan, what do you think?
Go ahead, Matty.
I think the default creator wrestler from Warzone and Attitude will probably win the Battle Royal.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I'm going Riddick Moss.
So there we go.
Shit, if Riddick Moss wins.
I'm gonna go,
Leon Ruff. Come on, man. You got to let Leon win it.
Nah, I'm going to go Riddick Moss via backslide.
In a battle royal.
You know what? I'm going
Yes.
with Damien. It's going to be Shorty G. All the way, Shorty G is going to win this bad boy.
Hey,
Shorty G's
no.
not around anymore.
Gable.
Oh, I know he's not around, quote unquote, but
Gable.
he'll return.
Otis!
And
Otis!
he'll come back.
Otis is already in the Survivor Series match.
Yeah. Okay, Bobby Lashley.
Trying to think of other names that could possibly win this, though. Like, that's the sad thing. Like, I don't even care about anybody.
Lars
That's-
Sullivan. Lars Sullivan.
No.
That's a name. That's a name. That's
It is a
fair
name. Is Daniel
I'm not
Bryan in
Daniel
anything?
Baba KO. Baba Tunde. Baba KO or Kato or whatever the fuck they call him.
Is Daniel Bryan doing anything?
I don't see Bryan winning. Bryan's made it pretty clear that at this point he's kind of in the put guys over stage. He could be a finalist, but I don't think I see Bryan winning.
That's Andy on a bad night. No.
Okay, Butters got that one, and he just went into timeout, and that's Andy clearly who did that one.
I didn't need to do that one. That
Let's be honest, though. Andy had the mouse already on the remove button this whole time. He was just waiting for a reason.
Free butters.
Free butters.
Hey! It's a record. I even went this damn long without going to timeout.
Swap me and Maddie. Now you got me all screwed up. Thanks.
This isn't how it's like on Lazy Booking, so it's all fucked up.
But Elias, maybe?
You were so thrown off now.
Elias, maybe?
What?
Elias, Jeff Hardy. I would think that those two would cost each other, though.
Yeah.
Big Show.
Oh God.
Ralph has his prediction.
Only if he makes a heel turn.
Wait a minute. Hold on though. This is actually the one time where Ralph's actually right, though.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
But
that's not even like.
Don't get our hopes up, Andy.
Right.
Don't get our hopes up.
Shut up, Butters. They've actually said that the Undertaker is going to be on Survivor Series.
Yeah,
so in a weird kind of a way, Ralph's right. He's gonna come back.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought you were talking about the Battle Royal.
No. Now I feel bad. Now. I don't know
Give him a minute to recover because you just gave him a heart attack there.
Yeah, no, hell no. I'm not. Is Carlito still wrestling or alive? Dude, how old do you think Carlito is?
Carlito also had substance abuse issues before.
I think he's wrestling Daddy's Puerto Rico wrestling thing right now.
He's been doing that since he got fired.
Bobby Lashley versus.
He's another one we hung out with in New Orleans.
Next match, Andy.
Bobby Lashley versus Sami Zayn. U.S.
Sami Zayn.
Intercontinental title.
I think Sami's going to somehow pull this one out his ass.
No, Bobby Lashley. And I could not be more disinterested in the match. And I love the Hurt Business. And I love Bobby Lashley. But I could not. This didn't work before. It's not going to work now. It's stupid, and I'm so. This is my whatever I'm gonna fucking do.
I honestly think Retribution somehow cost Bobby this match.
This is giving me really bad flashbacks to that first feud. It's giving me really bad flashbacks.
And that was one of the worst feuds I can think of in the last 5 years.
Agreed.
Lashley, give me Lashley.
I gotta go.
I think this needs to be Lashley, and it needs to be a squash.
It needs to be, just lock him up in the Hurt Locker and move on. Maddie?
It's probably going to be Lashley, only because Sammy can take an L, whereas Bobby, I feel like they need to keep on giving him wins. Just because it's the Hurt Business and it's a stable storyline they want to keep rolling with. So I go with that.
All right, let's move on to tag team titles. The New Day versus the Street Profits.
I got Street Profits.
Profits.
Same.
Do we think this is match of the night?
Possible. Could be. Depends on how Drew and Roman goes, because I think that has a lot of potential. But, yeah, very well. On paper, it should be.
Yeah.
Agreed.
I'm going to go Street Profits on this one because it'll be a huge win for them, helping to elevate them.
I think we're starting to see the torch be passed in terms of that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Asuka versus Sasha Banks.
I don't think it's going to have a clean finish. I think it's going to end up.
I think Sasha gets this one.
I think it's going to be a schmaz.
I'll with Butters.
Yeah. I got Carmella coming out.
Maybe.
I feel like Sasha finally gets that.
Sasha
I feel like
winning this
Sasha
match.
finally gets that win on Asuka that she can't seem to get.
You think it's a clean win?
Clean, dirty, it don't matter. She gets the win.
Okay.
Actually, I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna backtrack because I feel like Butters is wrong with everything. So I'm gonna go with this one.
Screw you then.
I'm gonna go with Andy on this one because Andy at least can get it right 15% of the time, and I'm gonna go with the same thing. I think that Carmella comes out and costs Sasha this match.
I'm in the same boat as you guys because that rivalry's been building up on SmackDown. It only makes sense for them to add more gasoline to the fire. What better way than to cost Sasha a match against Asuka?
Yeah, and they haven't, and the difference too is, they've had that going. There's nothing really going on for Asuka right now to where you'd say, well, you can make the argument that this person could come out and interfere as well. There's none of that there. It's very clear that how this is going.
Yeah. Agreed.
And also because Butters picked a certain one, so.
Fair point. Do you want to do the men's Survivor Series match or the women's? Oh, wait, let's do Drew versus Roman.
Drew.
Oh, see,
Roman.
I don't know that this one ends clean either.
I think your safe bet is for it to end in a no contest.
If I'm picking a winner, and I'm going to pick a winner just to pick one, because I don't think that this necessarily finishes clean. I'm going to go Roman here as well. No, I'm not. I'm going to go Drew, and I'm going to go with Jay or Jimmy cost Roman this match.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe Jay comes in, tries to help out Roman, causes a distraction, or he accidentally super kicks him, costs Roman this match.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Drew.
Maybe it's payback, not necessarily direct payback if Roman does end up pulling him from the Survivor Series match.
Could be.
Okay. Because that could be. We talked about earlier. How we want some stories to progress tonight. Well, not tonight, but tomorrow night. That could be one.
Almost tonight.
Yeah. Does anybody see Drew getting screwed with somebody who's going to be the next opponent for him?
Miz and Morrison at best.
No, see, I think it's pretty clear they're lining up a feud between him and Sheamus. The buddy thing, this and that now, but Sheamus is still a heel.
Yep.
And at some point, I think Sheamus shows his true colors and ends up taking out Drew, and then they end up having a feud.
All right, then.
I don't think they're at that point yet, though.
Okay, cool, because that pretty much makes it a little bit more clear of what kind of interference we're probably going to see in this match. I will go Drew, and I will say because of the interference from the Usos to have that rivalry continue.
Prism, where the hell have you been, dude?
Sleeping under a rock, apparently.
Like you've been on our show every week. Where you been? Miz has money in the bank. The fuck is going on? Prism. Good grief. I do agree to Chrome's point. I like the Uso involvement. I could definitely see that happening. I still think that you're safe bet. We've ever since they've done this champion versus champion, and you do have a fresh champion coming into this mix, you always kind of say you're better off just getting away from this match, right? Get away from this. Don't hurt either one, right? Because one, you're killing momentum. In this case, Drew has momentum coming off of a huge win on Monday, but then you also have Roman, who is at the top of his game and the top of his character right now, doesn't need to lose any momentum. But then that raises the question, is Roman so high up there with this head of the table character right now to where him taking an L in a match that really doesn't matter going to affect that?
Not if it's a schmaz against a guy like Drew.
Okay. Anybody else?
No, because the only other thing I can think of is would you see anything from the Fiend? But no, because there's nothing he's doing. Would you? I don't think so. I don't think he's doing anything with these guys. At least not right now.
My God.
Yeah. Love Prism. Absolutely love it. We appreciate you, Prism.
We'll keep you updated
Yep.
on WWE, buddy.
All right. Men or women first?
Women, just to get it out of the way.
Fair enough. Team Raw is Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, Lana, Lacey Evans, and Peyton Royce versus Team SmackDown's Bianca Belair, Ruby Riott, Liv Morgan, Bayley, and Chrome's favorite person, Natalya.
I think
I-
Team SmackDown wins this. Oh, go ahead, Butters.
No, go ahead. You started already. Go ahead.
I just simple. I'll give you. Team SmackDown wins this. I think Bianca and Ruby are the final two women standing.
Okay.
I know you're all going to hate me for this, but, screw it. I say enough stupid shit, but I feel like Raw's going to win it with Lana getting that pin.
I don't think that's a dumb.
I don't think that's a dumb one
But
either.
here's the thing. Here's what I see, though. Nia gets eliminated, gets pissed off. Samoan drops her like she's going through the table, and there's your pin.
Or she just lays outside the whole time, and people forget that she's even in the match.
And
That too.
Her Chronicle released today. They released a Chronicle on her today. I haven't watched it yet because obviously I went to work and then came home and done this show. But a Chronicle for Lana came out today, and typically in those moments, that person is very heavily highlighted the next night on that pay-per-view. So I think this is Lana's swan song.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I don't
So
know
I-
what she's under contract for.
I think it's like 2 years, and she signed earlier this year.
Yeah, I don't see the swan song for
Maybe
her.
swan song was the wrong one I wanted to use. You know what I meant.
Swan
But
song means she's on her way out the door, and they're like giving her this elaborate show
Yeah.
on the way out. I don't see that.
I
Yeah.
feel like
Late
this. I feel like this is more of her, finally showing that she can do something, or it's just again, Nia's still just pissed and wants to beat the shit out of her.
No, I don't think you're crazy, Butters, for that. I think
Not at all.
I just think that Bianca is too hot and too important. I think they see it with a lot of their build for her. That's why I think that she'll be the one that with her arm raised at the end. At least her.
And I
think
can
Ruby-
agree with that one. Yeah.
I feel like Ruby may slip in there too because I feel like they're going to make a shift with Ruby at some point soon. But if that's not the case, I absolutely could see the Lana thing happening. And I do think that in the end, this whole through the table thing is leading to something bigger for her to highlight her. This might be that turning point.
Yeah.
I have a theory. And I'm kind of afraid at the same time, but it's
This
been a
should be
while
good.
since I've said this. But
Oh no.
Ruh-roh, Raggy.
what if?
Nia wins.
What if?
Because I've had this feeling for quite a while. Seeing now, granted, I kind of see a lot of it through Twitter and stuff, but how it's been like 9 straight weeks that she's been put through a table or something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And it's been a story of, hey, the true underdog story and all this stuff. I think this match in particular, I won't get too crazy with this. I think this match in particular is going to end with Bianca Belair and Liv Morgan as the final two, and then defeating Lana. I think it's going to be, can Lana defeat the final 3 or something, and maybe she'll pin one of them, but then she won't be able to do it. I want you guys to remember this because I'm very confident. I truly believe in my entire being that Lana's winning the Rumble.
Ooh.
Really?
I think she's winning the
Ooh.
Rumble. Yes. I don't want it, but I think she's winning the Rumble.
I don't see a chance in hell that happens. But hey, you never know.
I mean, crazier shit's happened in the WWE. I mean,
I think they're going to do this whole thing of,
They fucking killed the guy at WrestleMania 15.
And he was out the next night on TV.
listen, would we have ever thought Otis, in one calendar year, honestly, would we ever have thought Otis would have won the Money in the Bank?
No, but I also did believe that they were going to take the Money in the Bank away from him before he had a chance to cash it in.
Yes. That they were going to have a match where Rey Mysterio lost a damn eyeball.
And then he's carrying around a Pokeball in his pocket.
Yeah. That's what both of those things happened like 6 months ago. Like,
I mean, people
That
getting
was
thrown
only
off at
6
Titan's
months ago.
Tower.
like this is the same company that did the whole thing with Jinder Mahal. Like, they gave him a WWE championship run.
This
I
is the
mean-
same.
Corbin fucking killed people. Threw 2 off a building, 1 off a ledge.
Guys, this is the same industry where the Big Show fell off the side of a parking garage and walked out hours later. This is the same industry. Halloween
Was
Havoc
that-
a few years ago.
Was
Like
that
20 years
done?
ago.
Was that done by a company that officially launched or rebranded 32 years ago today?
See what I did there? See what I did there?
Picking up what you're throwing down.
Yeah. This is also the same industry that gave us storylines like, oh, I don't know, Katie Vick and the first Dominic storyline. And let's see what else.
David Arquette winning the WCW title.
David Arquette winning the WCW title. The
Jeff
Big
Hardy
Show-
sobriety.
Jeff Hardy sobriety. Scott Hall's sobriety. Big Boss Man stealing the Big Show's father's casket.
Vince versus God.
Do
Oh my
I
God.
need to continue?
Oh my God.
Big
Oh,
Show
the-
riding
Andy.
Big Show riding that some bitch like Kate Winslet and fucking Titanic.
And
Oh my God, that shit was
Yes,
fucking.
Ryan.
Oh
Andy.
my God.
this is the same company that turned God into a spotlight.
Thank you.
Are we? But listen.
It
okay,
sucked, Chrome. It sucked.
Listen. Who are? Can we say with 100% certainty that God was not in that spotlight?
Oh,
don't
piss
do- don't
off.
do this to me. Don't do this to me.
God hears all.
Shut up.
knows all, sees all, and God is everywhere. So
Ryan, it's your
technically,
turn.
he was in that spotlight.
If I go any further, I'm gonna have to go
Video
cleanse
Sante.
myself from the sin. I'm gonna have to go cleanse myself in holy water because I sinned.
I'm just saying, God is everywhere. He was in that spotlight.
Yeah, his name is Bret Hart, right?
Who are we to say that he wasn't there?
Oh,
He's not
my
a damn
God.
spotlight, Chrome. At least put him in. I mean, Christ.
I didn't say he was in. He is a spotlight. I was saying that he was
Oh.
in the spotlight.
Oh, but,
Did anybody think it'd be November 21st, 2020, and we're talking about God as a damn spotlight?
you know why we're talking about it, Andy? You know why? Because it friggin' sucked.
No. You better
Randy
go-
sucks and Brett's better.
Listen, you better go have a conversation with the Lord and receive your penance and carry that out right now.
Yeah, I'll
because
give Bret
that's-
Hart a call. I have him on speed dial.
The big guy up there.
His speed dial was 1-800-FU. That's his speed dial.
I mean, we're over here talking about Andy being Shorty G, but the big G up there is not happy with you right now, Ryan.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Lana's winning the Rumble, and then she's gonna probably lose at WrestleMania, so it'll mean nothing. Next.
All right, the men's Survivor Series team. Yeah, we're still doing a preview show here, guys.
God almighty.
Or she'll
Holy
win.
shit.
Or she'll win Money in the Bank, and then she'll lose it 6 months later due to another
I could see
lawsuit.
that. I could see that.
Team Raw.
Not the lawsuit, but her
Even though
winning
they're
the Money in the Bank.
even though they're imploding from the inside out, I somehow see Team Raw pulling this out their ass.
I'm sorry, I should take a moment there. Butters was trying to get us back on track. That is, I'm sorry, that's memorable.
That's when you've hit the 7th layer of hell that Butters is trying to pull us out of the fucking. Butters is like, listen, man, you're running out of layers here, buddy. We got to pull you back in. When Butters is dropping the lifeline, we've really hit new territory.
You would have been the last guy to fucking do it.
So Team Raw is AJ Styles, Keith Lee, Sheamus, Braun Strowman, and Matt Riddle. Team SmackDown is Kevin Owens, Jey Uso, King Corbin, Seth Rollins, and Otis.
King Corbin's the last man standing.
Is it sad? I could almost. Oh
No! Don't you agree with him? Because that was stupid. That was stupid.
I'm not.
That's why
because
I laughed.
I'm sticking with.
Not supposed to be taken seriously.
I'm
It's
sticking with
Butters
Team
you're
Raw.
talking to.
This is true, but I feel like even with their implosion here, I feel like Team Raw is somehow going to pull this one out the ass.
Yeah, it's absolutely going to be Raw. Raw's winning the final.
Oh no, it's going to be Raw, right? It's going to be Raw right up everybody's rear end because it's just a clusterfuck of who's who on these damn matches. I mean, on these damn teams.
I don't know. See, as I look at it as it stands, I see
What?
as it stands. I could see Jey Uso being the last man standing in this match.
Maybe.
That's possible.
And
I
then
mean,
then it could be a whole thing with Roman. Jey Uso's happy he won this and that. Roman tries to knock him down a few pegs again, verbally.
Roman
and
ends
that
up
pisses
losing.
him off. He comes out later on to help Roman. It ends up being his night on a night that Roman loses, and that becomes part of the storyline.
Yeah.
No, I don't hate that, but I don't know. I still think Team Raw wins this one. I think they've just got. I don't know. When you look at it on paper, they've got bigger star power.
But that's the problem because I see that the implosion carries into that. I think they've made Keith Lee very, very, very easily forgettable now, which is a shame. Same thing with Matt Riddle. I mean, look at this time last year, how hyped people were to see these guys in Survivor Series matches. Now nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, but is it really I don't give a shit because of the whole no fans are in the arena? Or is it I don't give a shit just because of how they've been booked right now?
They've been booked terribly. I mean, Matt Riddle is Mr. I'm going to give you the worst nicknames ever, and that's like his gimmick now. Terrible. They're not even dad jokes. They're worse than dad jokes. They're just not good. That's Matt Riddle now. I don't.
So they're Frank jokes.
yeah.
They're Frank
Damn.
jokes. Yes.
Damn!
There's a lot of.
Very few people that can take that joke, and Frank's one of them. Ryan, Maddie, who do you guys have winning?
For me, I think Raw does win. I'm trying to think of who would be the guy to get that pin for the win on Raw. A part of me thinks it could be Keith Lee, who gets the pinfall for Raw to win.
I can see that happening.
Or
Yeah, I think. Or Crow.
I mean, we're talking about Drew's next opponent to build him up. Could Sheamus be the guy?
Yeah, I was thinking it was either going to be Keith Lee or Sheamus in my book on the two. Either that or they're the last two on the team that win.
Now, could we see
that's what I
potential? Could we see a potential clean sweep on one side or the other?
No.
Yeah.
Nah, because I feel like that would bury everybody. No, I've got the final two. I've got Raw winning with the final two of Keith Lee and Sheamus eliminating Jey Uso.
Okay. I like that.
Yeah, I can totally see that.
Now, do we see AJ's big Matumbo motherfucker interfere at any point?
No.
Tumbo motherfucker.
I saw Maddie react.
I don't know his name.
And I was waiting.
What the hell?
I don't know what to respond to that.
I don't know his name.
You just don't.
Yes,
You
I
don't.
don't know how to respond to that. I'm gonna make that perfectly
You know
clear.
what?
I don't fucking know how to respond to that.
Does he have a name? Does he actually not have a name?
You just don't respond to it, Maddie. I think that one.
Wait, did they not give him a name?
No, they did, but it's. Hold on. Hold on.
AJ Styles, new friend name.
Styles' new friend. That should be his name. AJ Styles' new friend.
The Towering Associate. Jesus God, what?
So it's Jordan. Hold on. It's Jordan Amogabin?
What the fuck?
Is that his
Yeah.
real name? Is that
Yeah,
his real name?
Don't worry. With all these abbreviated WWE names, they'll be calling him Jay in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But I think
Seven
Prism
foot
hit the nail on the head, though. He's got Dikembe Mutombo. I mean, it's got to clearly be him at some point. That's got to be the name they roll with.
Oh, I can see it now, guys. In 2 weeks, if the friggin' intro comes out, standing 7'6", weighing over 350 pounds, Jay.
So lackluster.
So, bring it back to Survivor Series real quick. So if it works out, let's say Sheamus is part of the final group that wins, whether it's just him, whether it's with Keith Lee, whoever. I could see this. You know, they've been doing these little backstage vignettes, or not vignettes, but little segments with him and Drew. He comes back and he's like, oh, he's all hyped about his win. And Drew's just kind of, hey, congratulations, man, but I have a title match to get hyped up for. Kind of pushes him off and kind of lowballs him on it because he's wrapped up in his own stuff. And Sheamus has been Mr. Supportive, gives him his sword and stuff back. And Sheamus gets pissed and is like, oh, okay, I'm not as important as you are. You sticks it to him, and that kicks the feud off.
That's perfect. That's perfect. I love that.
I'm switching to Raw now that I'm talking it out. I'm switching to Raw.
Woohoo!
Well, that just means you sided with Butters.
That's okay.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, gentlemen. Let's talk about it. Tomorrow marks the 30th anniversary of the Phenom, the Deadman.
The who?
The Deadman. The Undertaker. Making his debut.
Say it a little
at
sexier.
Survivor Series. Okay. Shut up, all of you. So I want to put this up. I found this. WWE's been kind of doing this over the past month or so, coming up with Undertaker's greatest match of all time. Okay. They're down to the finals, so I figured this was a great time for us to. We don't have to talk about every single match up, right? I'm going to drop this on here, okay? And here's the list, okay? I'm going to take off the logo for just a moment so everybody can see.
What the hell?
Okay?
Oh,
So it's pretty much a lot of his WrestleMania matches, a lot of his different pay-per-view matches. Let's take off the ticker for a second as well. The Undertaker Jeff Hardy from Raw is the only television match that's on this card. I mean, on this bracket, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And you can see how in the finals, it's both of his WrestleMania matches with HBK.
Mm-hmm.
The one at 25 and the one at 26. Do you guys feel like those are the right two that should be in the finals?
I feel like
Yes.
it should only be one Michaels match.
I mean, I do. I'm looking, just kind of going through the card. Undertaker, Mankind. It was. When you look at that, that was more of a high spot. Match wise, it wasn't. Buried Alive, kind of same thing. You have to remember, the Undertaker had a lot of real gimmicky matches in his career that was more about moments than was an actual story being told throughout the match. I think you can make an argument for WrestleMania 17 against Triple H.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, I mean, it got beat out by Batista. I think that the WrestleMania 17 one was a lot better than the Batista one.
Are there any surprises on here? Any upsets? Anything that you guys are kind of like, why didn't that one make it further?
Taker versus AJ?
It was a gimmicky. It wasn't a match, in my opinion. It was more just a brawl.
I'm surprised that Taker versus Rock versus Angle from Vengeance in 02 is here. Not because it's not a good match. It's just, it's one of the matches you don't hear about very often, so I'm kind of surprised it's here. Still a good match, though.
Yeah, I'm with Butters, too. Undertaker and Batista over Undertaker Triple H 17 in the first round just seems terrible to me.
A little rough. And then they got
Yeah.
two of his matches with Edge going against each other in the first round. And I'm looking at it going, why?
Well, they also have...
And that's the same year, isn't it? Yeah.
2008 and then WrestleMania 24, yeah.
Yeah, that's the same year.
I mean, Undertaker versus Undertaker on this list, although it's a memorable match, to call it a great match was definitely not. Undertaker versus Bryan Lee, not a great match.
You know, I'm surprised that I'm not surprised, right? In the sense of, I like the fact that the Jeff Hardy match goes as far as it does, right? You know,
It was a good match.
It wins the wild card bracket. It loses out to HBK at 25. Understandable.
I might be wrong on this, but I mean, I kind of like the Undertaker Ric Flair WrestleMania match.
Well, that was not a bad mid card match. But one thing that surprised me is the 6-man Hell in a Cell is in here, but not the Brock Lesnar Hell in a Cell. That surprises me that that's not in here, because to me that's way more memorable than the 6-manner.
Yeah.
Where's Taker versus Roman?
Why would that be on? That was a terrible match. I'm shocked that Undertaker and Bray Wyatt is on here, because that wasn't a good match from 31.
Undertaker flat out says that match is one of his worst matches that he puts on. So that one doesn't surprise me that one's not on here.
Undertaker and Shane from 32. It's a high spot match. That's all that was.
Yeah. I don't like that the Undertaker AJ Styles Boneyard match, though. Because I just caught it, right? Gets beat out by Undertaker Edge. I get what you're saying, Chrome, in the sense of it was very gimmicky or whatever. But when you look at it as a whole, I do think that match does stand a little bit better than Undertaker Edge from 2008.
The Highway to Hell match against Austin is not on here.
You are correct. It is not.
It's missing. Like, where did they get all these matches to say that these are the greatest matches?
That part I don't know. They just posted this one day randomly.
Because I get it. You have the years, but in my opinion, like, did they not have like a bracket of older matches to say, hey, this is what's getting into the final matches?
Not that I saw.
I'm going to say this, and Andy, brace yourself, buddy.
Okay.
I'm looking at his list of matches, and there are some very legendary matches, but when I actually have all the matches, greatest matches list in front of me, not a lot of great ones. If that's what they consider as great ones, and again, even to think, Matty came up with a couple that you could interchange in and out. But overall, I'll be honest, looking at that, he's a great storyteller and has great moments in matches. Like, that to me now takes him off like the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Because I've always kind of tossed around, like, does he have that spot? Should he be on that spot? This and that. don't think I feel that way now. Not a lot
See,
of great matches. A lot of gimmicks.
Nah, a lot of gimmicks. But I think when you look at the Undertaker character,
Phenomenal.
right, as a whole,
One of the
I
best
think
of all time.
you need to have some of those gimmick matches in order for the character to still work.
Right,
Well,
but it just doesn't. I don't like the choices, and then to put some of them over.
Yeah, I don't think that should be a representation though of Taker. Now, if Taker was the one sitting there, picking them out, then yeah, okay, I have a lot of questions.
That's like say, is that who they got to pick all these matches right here? Did Taker
My
go through and go?
understanding is it was done by. Hold on, let me pull it back up. The original post.
While you're
But I
pulling
think
that up, I'm going to say this: one of his, probably his last great singles match that he had, is not on there, and that was WrestleMania 29 against CM Punk.
To CM Punk, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, hell, we could go down the list of the wrestlers that he's faced that he had legendary rivalries on, and we can see if they're on there. I mean, he has this one with Mankind, the Hell in a Cell match. He has the ones with Shawn, the ones with Edge. But then there are other ones that he doesn't have on there. Obviously, Austin would be one of them. There's matches with The Rock that aren't on there that were really good. So it's like...
Did they omit the Punk one because it's CM Punk?
No, they're
question
past
to
that at
ask.
this point. They have him featured, and they're showing highlights, and they showed him all over
Good point. Yeah,
They
good
showed
point.
him all over the.
Well, I get that,
the
but
Undertaker stuff that they've been putting on the network.
well, my thing is this: who's to say that they put that on there and the fans run away with it?
So it looks like
Would
it's
that
a
be their fear?
fan-
They don't care at this point. They put him on their own programming. The fans could have ran away with that.
So it's
Live
a
on their own programming.
fan voted on WWE Network's
Yeah, but there's a lot of fan
Facebook
voting.
page. But no, some of these don't have a lot. It looks like it's based on comments almost. But some of these don't have a lot of comments on them. So I don't see it as being anything kind of, I don't want to say legitimate, right?
That's what I'm getting at. You call it fan voting, and it's like their typical voting. Hey, this is what we're voting for. Go ahead and vote, even though we've already picked.
Yeah, I mean, in the end, when I look at the two matches that ended up at the end, to me, that's probably the two right matches, though. To me, WrestleMania 25 is the greatest match of all time against him and HBK. So
The only matches that I could say could rival that would probably be his match with Edge at WrestleMania 24. That's the only one that I could think of. Because I think that matchup had a great story.
Those 3 years were probably some of the best work he did at WrestleMania.
like, I think it's weird that they put the Royal Rumble match on that list.
Like that entire Royal Rumble match.
Because he came in at 30. So...
Yeah. I mean, it was cool. Well, him and Shawn did do almost 30 minutes, though, after the fact, after everybody was out. But I just think that's a weird match to put on a list like that. But, I mean, I will say this. I'm disappointed in terms of great matches, but maybe I'm just analyzing it from a great match standpoint. When I look at it, the iconic matches would have been a better word for me. Every decade, man, he's right in the thick of things. And if you look at, when you look at the 90s, you look at the 2000s, the 2010s, the opponents he had, and you think back to those feuds and how those played out. And then go to that wild card, and you're seeing things like Undertaker versus Undertaker thrown in there, different things. I mean, the history speaks for itself. The longevity speaks for itself for a character that on paper has no business lasting for 30 years. And that's a hats off to the guy. It's a hats off to the company for getting it right. They don't always nail everything. Not any company does, but they don't always get it right, especially now. But for 30 years, that company did that man right, and that man did that character justice.
Oh yeah, and all the stuff they put out, the Brothers of Destruction thing, the Mortician, we're getting, 2 new pieces of content this weekend on him. One being the new Broken Skull sessions with
I think that
Steve
released
Austin.
already, right?
I haven't checked WWE Network at all today. I thought it was supposed to release tomorrow after Survivor Series.
I think it did because they did release an extra on YouTube.
Because it's a
Yeah.
2-hour thing.
Right, but the thing you got to think of too. So just for yourself, and we all know this. They always say dropping after Survivor Series or after whatever event, but that means they basically drop it the next morning.
Right.
Remember the
right,
Edge
no.
one? The Edge one was
Yeah.
supposed to be, and it was on there by like 9 a.m.
And like he just did Hot Ones.
Yeah, I want to check that out.
Well, I was like, I'm house sitting starting tomorrow, so I'm saving a lot of stuff for when I'm house sitting. But I was doing research for the show today of making sure I had all my notes right. Apparently, he talks a lot on there about a lot of different stuff because it was just article of stuff he talked about.
Well, somebody in the comment section earlier at the beginning of the show dropped in and asked if we've seen it. Said it's 23 minutes of greatness. So
yeah, and all the stuff they've done have been great with him because this is the one character that like they protected so heavily everything about him, who he was, his backstory, all these little nuances about different things. Like that's why I'm super excited for the Broken Skull sessions because it's supposed to pull back the curtain more. But now that we're getting a chance to pull back the curtain and see the man, see the journey, see what gave us arguably the greatest character ever, it's been really exciting. And here we are. Like, it didn't click till maybe 2 weeks ago when we were actually on air. I said, oh, wow, wait. Survivor Series is actually legitimately 30 years to the day, of his debut. And that in of itself is pretty cool. So I posed a question as we kind of bring this entire show to its finish line. What is by far your favorite Undertaker moment? And then I did see a question in here. So while you guys are thinking of that, Damien drops a question. He goes, is it me or would have been better or smarter if Undertaker Streak was a Survivor Series thing instead of Mania since he debuted at Survivor Series?
Well, here's the answer to that, Damien, is the streak was organic. It wasn't something that was intended. It happened to take place at WrestleMania. And then I think around, what was it, like 8, 9, 10 wins, something along those, or 10 or 11 wins, they realized, hey, this dude's never lost at WrestleMania before. And that's when it started to become a thing. So to answer your question, no, there's no smarter way because it just happened organically. It wasn't something they planned. You don't plan for a character to be around for 30 years. Let's be real.
Yeah,
you
it just kind of happened.
So yeah, it wasn't anything that was booked. It was by accident. But when they realized it happened and it took steam and the fans were starting to acknowledge it with signs in the crowd, it just took on a life of its own. And actually, honestly, even if Survivor Series or not, I'm glad that it happened at WrestleMania.
Agreed. Okay, guys. What's your favorite Undertaker moment of all time?
I thought you were going to ask a different question, by the way.
What did you think I was going to ask?
I thought you were going to ask, who is your favorite, or what is your favorite version of The Undertaker?
We can answer that, too. I'm down to answer that, too. Guys, I can do a 3-hour show on The Undertaker.
Oh,
I mean, I've always been a fan of the American Badass, so but that's just me.
So that's your favorite Taker. What's your favorite moment?
Oof. Ugh. I'd say his return where he started the American Badass. His return into
At Judgment Day?
Yeah. There we go.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
That
My
wasn't
brain's
bad.
a little.
All right.
This is tough. Man, how do you narrow down to one moment? Jesus. Let's see here.
You don't.
Now, preface this. Is it a moment that we had to have seen happen, or could it be any moment?
Any moment.
man.
Any moment. Okay.
They all live on the WWE network, buddy.
True,
For
they
just
do, but
$9.99.
yeah. But
Cheap
it's been
plug.
a while since anyone's done that, so that's a good one. I will say, for me, personal reasons for this one, when Undertaker won the World Heavyweight title at WrestleMania 23, because I hadn't seen him win a championship in a long time. And so for him to win that belt after winning the Rumble earlier in the year, it was great. It was cool for me to see it happen, because I remember 02, but it wasn't really all that interesting because he was a heel. And when he won in 07, it was like, holy shit, he's world champion. That's freaking awesome.
Yeah. All right, Chrome.
What's your favorite version of The Undertaker, by the way?
Oh, it just beats out the American Badass by a little bit, and that is not the Ministry Undertaker, but the Goth Undertaker that came right before it during the era where Kane first showed up.
Okay.
That Undertaker I really liked in like 98.
Yeah, you know what? I'm kind of similar along the lines of Maddie, but I take it back further, obviously. I think for me with Undertaker, favorite moment was his victory against Sid at WrestleMania 13, because again, this is a character that didn't really need a title, but to have him get that title, and you got to think the only time he was the champion before then was when he defeated Hogan, and he lost the title, a week later? So you go back and you really think about it, to see him win that title, and it kind of ties into my favorite version of The Undertaker. I always liked the original Undertaker. I liked the gray gloves, the tie, the hat, the stirrups. I wished that before he retired, I hoped that we would get one more nod to the original Undertaker, and I'm kind of hoping that maybe he'll come out in that same garb tomorrow night.
Oh,
that would be that moment that I really want to see. And I think even back to then, and it was, in hindsight now, the writing was on the wall. When you come out and you pay homage to your original character, and like he did at WrestleMania 13, wearing that original Undertaker garb, you could tell he was probably going to win that match. But I was a kid then, so I didn't think that way. But I just think about that, and I was a big Undertaker guy too, and I just can remember him winning that wing title, my favorite championship belt, taking the knee in the middle of the ring with the old gear on. I love that moment. And I'll give a second moment personally. I was at Extreme Rules in Philly, and I know it was a tag team match, but for all the dumping and as bad as it was for Taker, I remember being in the crowd last year when we had that match, and me and my buddy looking at each other and just saying, man, that's the best match I've seen him have in years. It was nice to be there for it. It was nice to see him have a high-level match with high-level guys again, which ultimately ended up being, knock on wood because I don't want to see another Undertaker match, ended up being his final match in front of a crowd. So pretty personal moment for that. Cool. The other one, obviously, WrestleMania 13, defeating Psycho Sid.
All right. So, favorite Undertaker. My favorite Undertaker probably has to be the Ministry of Darkness Undertaker.
That's my second favorite, dude. I loved the Ministry Undertaker.
2 reasons.
What
One,
a prick.
Oh, yeah, 100%. That was the first Undertaker I was exposed to. Right? He was doing ministry by that point when I started watching pro wrestling. So I knew nothing of, the Goth Undertaker, the original Undertaker that they were doing. That was I'll be honest with you. I was 8, 9, scared the hell out of me watching everything he did, but I was so captivated. So when he did American Badass, that was cool. But when he comes back as the Deadman in 04, and really amps up the mind games, that's when I started learning of the old Undertaker, because that was stuff he had done, with the Yokozuna thing and all that other stuff. God, my favorite moment, I have a personal one. It's seeing him at WrestleMania 25, because as far back as I can remember, that was my first Undertaker entrance. Of all the shows I've ever been to, that was my first Undertaker. And Maddie, I don't know if you've ever seen Undertaker live, Butters. I don't think you have.
I've seen him live once, and it was on a Raw right before WrestleMania when he faced Roman. And he showed up and cut a promo on Roman.
When those lights go out and that gong hits, not only does the air in the room go cold, but you feel a different energy flow through your body. And I remember sitting there looking at my dad, because my dad was at WrestleMania with me, and I went, holy shit, this is real. So that's a personal favorite for me. Plus I had my dad there and all that other stuff. WrestleMania 25 will always be very, very special to me. But it's so dumb, but my favorite moment is Survivor Series 2005, when the lightning strikes the casket and he kicks the casket door down and he's going after Randy, but the first person he throws out the ring is fucking Randy, and lays waste to everybody and takes Brian Kendrick and puts him 20 feet in the air and one hand chokeslams him to hell. Like, to this day, like, that's one of the things that I always go back and I'm like, I want to watch that. Like, I love it. Of all of the Undertaker stuff, and obviously you could say when he kidnapped Steph, or when he was doing the whole vignettes that Raw outside of McMahon's house.
Where to, Stephanie?
and then doing it later with "Where to, Teddy?"
Oh yeah,
Teddy Long. But that's definitely one rings in my mind of moments where watching Raw, I went, "Oh fuck, this is real." Like, I was getting kid, right? He just really kidnapped this girl.
Yeah.
Listen, brother, when you're spot on with the entrances, man, I've seen it at Mania a few times, and even in an arena, it's great. When you see it at Mania live, it's otherworldly. I've been fortunate to see it a few times myself, and that's one thing I'll miss about Mania. And I was at 33 when we thought that was going to be it. And I could still, even though it didn't happen that way, I could still remember the energy in the crowd then, and that was a special feeling as well. But
because no entrance was ever the same.
Well, did you watch any of the specials that they've had?
I've watched.
Did you see Brothers of Destruction?
Yes.
Okay. So I remember, you're talking about when you're a kid, right? I remember when he debuted. And then I remember him being a guy who, when Kane talks about when he has the guy being choked in the corner and he's making like the sounds, like
the hissing,
like the hissing. I remember that and being horrified by this guy. I legitimately thought, I was like 6 or 7, that this guy might be like a walking corpse. I believed it.
And fun fact, I'm pretty sure that guy he's choking out is Hogan.
In that clip it is, yeah. But it's crazy. Like, I remember when the body bag was an actual part of his gimmick, where every opponent, just like Ted DiBiase used to stuff a $100 bill in somebody's mouth, every opponent, every jobber he beat on Superstars or whatever the show was, he put them in the body bag and he took the body bag with him. That was the thing. It was just one of those special things, man. And I will say, I'm privileged to have watched the beginning to the end. And I got to watch it at such a young age to where I was a believer on that deep level when this character first started. And I think that's what makes it that much more special, knowing at the inception when this guy came in, you see those kids crying in the crowd at Survivor Series. Like, I was one of those kids watching, I don't know if I was crying, but I remember being like, if I ever see this thing in person, I'm going to be scared to death. So it's just amazing career for the guy. I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm excited to see whatever special presentations they do have. I hope it doesn't turn into some shitty match or anything like that. Just like honor the dude, man. Like figure it out.
I will say when they did Kane and the Undertaker versus what was it, the Wyatt family, I guess 5 years ago at Survivor Series, that entrance with the different versions of him in the casket
That was
Yeah.
cool.
hanging up, that was cool.
Yeah, I actually think I was thinking about watching that tonight before I go to bed.
It's not a bad
I
idea.
will say this too. One other moment that's really special to me for the Undertaker, when he came back at WrestleMania 20, and Paul
Yes.
Bearer was there, and that was huge because I hadn't seen Paul Bearer since 2000 when he was there briefly for Kane, and all this. Yeah,
And after watching Mortician and knowing what Paul Bearer went through to get there,
yeah.
makes that moment so much bigger.
Yep.
I love this, so I'm going to mention this as well. I loved as a kid the Leslie Nielsen vignettes. Like he comes in. I was a big fan of the Naked Gun movies too, so I was like all into that. And like when he's sitting at like the desk and he's got his back turned and you just see pizza and he drops the pizza and leaves. I love that stuff. To this day, I go back, I can watch those vignettes, and I am still entertained as if it's the first
Regis
time I watched them.
Philbin interview is hysterical.
Oh, that might be one of the best, especially the early years when you're talking about when he's like measuring them.
When he's measuring Philbin, yeah.
And honestly, when Regis for a celebrity kind of a contribution, when you think back and you watch that again, you're like, with his personality that he had, he was perfect for that. Hey, what are you doing here? Like he was just so perfect for that spot.
Oh my god, that was great.
Did y'all see? I seen this on Facebook yesterday, but did y'all see the video between him and his wife? I guess it was a TikTok video.
No, oh god!
He's apparently on TikTok now.
You see somebody sitting up. They got a Undertaker mask on, trying to say "Rest in peace" in the Undertaker voice. All of a sudden, the light flips on. He walks over. It's like they're in their closet or something. He walks in. He goes, "Nobody's gonna believe that. Nobody's gonna believe you." Michelle rips off the mask. She's like, "Really?"
Oh, I gotta see that. That actually does sound funny.
Yeah, it's just like somebody in the pitch dark. You can barely see this Undertaker mask. And you're like, "Who the fuck? What the hell is going?" Nobody's gonna believe that. Really?
One of the most adorable things, though, have you seen the picture of his daughter dressed up like him and doing having the choke slam on him? That's like one of the most adorable things ever, to have your kid dress up as you and have the choke slam on you.
There's a lot of really great things. I mean, you go back to the casket matches with Kamala, and particularly we're talking about memories, right? When I think about Royal Rumble and I think of iconic moments, to me, it was him and Yokozuna, and then his whole promo inside the casket, and they show him rising. Pretty close. Actually, another great one to mention, his return at Survivor Series 96 against Mankind. Where he came in like the bat. That was iconic, man.
Here we go. I can't do the sound on it, but here.
Oh my god.
That's hilarious.
Oh my god, that's funny.
Boss Man.
So did anybody lock in their $1,000 cameo video?
No, absolutely not. Although, don't think it didn't cross my mind.
I'm sure.
I got a savings account for a reason.
They had 30 spots. $1,000 gets you a quick cameo video with the Undertaker. After all the bullshit we've put all our other superstars through about, third-party accounts, here's the Undertaker on
boy.
cameo.
Hey, man.
He doesn't work for them anymore, brother.
He still kind of does, because they're getting their cut.
There are very, very, very few things in this world that I will contemplate doing without very little question. That, my friends, was one of them. Before I die, that is the one human being that I have to meet before I die.
I agree. I would like to meet him too.
Yep. Same here.
I don't care what it costs.
No.
Honestly, just to shake his hand and say thank you, I walk away a happy man.
He was doing a Cricket Wireless signing in Houston, God, maybe a year ago, maybe 2 years ago or something like that. And it was like 300. No, it was the day of my bar mitzvah in February.
I'd have fucking skipped the bar mitzvah.
Bro, it was $400. And had I not been hung out to dry, had I missed any part of this day, oh, fam, believe me, I'd have been there. But there are certain people in this world that scare me more than meeting the Undertaker. And they were in charge that day. Not
You would have been a real dead man if you had done anything like that.
Damn. Wow. All right. Guys, this was fantastic. This was a ton of fun. Yeah, we haven't gotten on here together in a while. And it was fun to get everybody back together, get ready for Survivor Series. Because I kind of said it the other day in our wrestling chat. This is kind of when wrestling starts picking back up, right? It's almost like a season premiere for wrestling in the sense. So it's really good for us to kind of kick it off with Lazy Booking, getting together within this very ring and doing it that way. Matty Crow, I appreciate you guys coming on. Brodo was on. He had to step out for a moment while we were doing the Undertaker greatest matches. And hell, we even got Tom on here. Words I never utter on a Saturday night that Tom Ornone joined us on the air, as brief as it was. Tomorrow night, it's going to be YouTube exclusive, but we will be doing a Survivor Series reaction. We're still working out the details of what time we're going to go on. I want to try to get us on. I want to try to get us on right before the show starts, very, very briefly before, and we'll roll through the show, guys. We'll be there with you reacting to it. So check us out on YouTube for that. Lazy Booking is back this week, he says, with a question mark. Yes, and you guys are doing your draft show, aren't you?
If we can get everybody on, if not, we'll hold that. I mean, at this point, we didn't do it before, so I still want to do a Survivor Series draft show.
Right.
If it's not this week, we'll figure it out and see how many of us we can get on, and we'll get that going. But pretty soon, we'll figure it out. I'm working on a guest or two also. So,
and then Birds of a Feather on Thursday, previewing this week's NFL schedule. Was it Eagles Browns? I think it is. Did I read that right? Is Sunday?
That's We're gonna review that. We're gonna preview. Well, yeah. Honestly, I'm ready for the NFL season to be over because the Eagles suck ass. So.
I was about to say. I feel like if the Browns, I feel like if the Browns win, I don't think we'll hear from y'all for a while.
No, you will, because I already predicted them to lose, so I'm prepared for that.
God,
fair enough.
Ugh.
And then Hockey Happy Hour following that.
Yes, yeah, we've been flying high on the off season. Hopefully, the January 1st start date holds up.
There you go. And we would be remiss if we didn't mention the fact that Chrome, you're also on After Dark Tuesday nights, right after Lazy Booking. Which, guys, if you're not watching, like, don't get me wrong. I love Sports Hounds on Mondays, Lazy Booking on Tuesdays, Fix AM and the PM, Card Knocks all on Wednesdays, Birds of a Feather and Hockey Happy Hour Thursdays. Fridays got Real Talk. Saturday, you've got Kicking It Stateside Weekly Roundup, Kep's Corner, and us. But A2D After Dark, if you thought we went off the rails, by God, those people over there don't even get on the track. They don't even get in the
I'm
train.
down, JR.
Listen,
No, but Butters, I'm not joking, dude.
Listen, here's the fun thing about it, right? And I'll just, in case there is anybody who sees this and who does check it out, it's not a traditional show, okay? It's the bulk of sports, but we also talk about other things. If a topic comes up, it comes up. We talk pop culture. We talk social issues. And I'm not talking like crazy social issues. I'm talking about like, everyday society. We had a whole thing about mani pedis. Is it okay for a guy to get pedis? I'm a clear coat guy. Of course I go and get my pedicures. I think dick pics is on the tab for this week coming up.
Yeah, I heard.
And you know what?
I tuned into. Swear to God, I was working Tuesday night and I said, "Oh, After Dark was on. Let me go see what they're talking about." Click. I hear Tori go, "Yeah, next week we're talking about dick pics." I was like, "Well, I'm going to restart the show later."
Listen, and it's definitely something that you guys want to check it out because the ladies have very good insight. They're very smart with sports, but for all you pigs out there, and you're all pigs, we're all pigs. Get some insight from some really, really cool, really educated women there that maybe they'll help you out with finding your next lady friend.
But on that note, we're going to get out of here. Guys, thank you so much for joining us. Chat, you guys were fantastic tonight. Thanks for hanging out. Maddie, Chrome, as always, we love you guys. We got to thank Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy. Check him out. We're going to do Maddie. Come on, try this again. Maddie, try this again so I can finish the read.
I did.
Hey, close enough. Dr. Paul Vidal at Specialized Physical Therapy. Check him out at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Ambuck Services and Michael Ambrose. They are the gutter and deck restoration experts of South Jersey. And then Philly Drinkers, where you can get all your wonderful A2D radio swag. Guys, the holidays are coming. Get your orders in now. Get your shirts. Support your shows. And tell people about the takeover because the takeover is real. Guys, we'll see you next week. Make sure you fill out your ballots. Check out the In This Very Ring show page so you can join this crazy cast of characters next week as we recap Survivor Series. Enjoy tomorrow. Come hang out with us.
Hey, speaking of the ballots, and I want to make sure we get this documented here.
Oh, we did document it.
I beat Pete, and we still haven't come up with a punishment for Pete yet. So,
well, because none of the three of us haven't been on the air since that episode.
That doesn't go away over time. That's outstanding. My finger is right over Daniel Bryan's crotch right now, and that's awkward. Anyway.
Insert voter fraud joke here.
Speaking about your dick pics.
But, all right, so we do have to address that. I will find a night to... If I got to crash a birds of a feather, I'm crashing birds of a feather to talk about this. But, guys, as always, thank you so much. Enjoy Survivor Series tomorrow. Come hang out with us tomorrow on YouTube. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Woo!